Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope that work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Plenty of ground to cover here on this Tuesday. They're underway from Hoover. Shocking information coming out. This is breaking news. You're hearing it first. They're a little behind. They're a little behind. There's been some pitching changes, been some home runs hit, been some scoring back and forth between Ole Miss and Missouri in Game 1. So just a hunch, LSU probably won't start right at 8 o'clock tonight. But we knew that the second that was announced. So if you're going to stay up tonight, buckle up. Maybe get a nap in at your desk or when you get home because it's going to be a late night for those of us that are locked into LSU and Oklahoma. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. LSU basketball making waves on the internet, I'll tell you that. We'll discuss it in 15 minutes. Glenn West talking Tigers at 1:30. Tyler Shough spoke with the media at the Saints golf tournament yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that in an hour or two. A big-time cornerback has canceled a visit to LSU. That's something we need to discuss as well. And Sharif Ishak will be here talking Saints at 2:30. So lots and lots to cover. Let's crank it up.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, LSU and Oklahoma tonight from the Hoover Met could be the final day of LSU's 2026 season. They're playing for it until they lose in Hoover. And so it starts tonight. Let's talk about it. LSU left William Schmidt off of the roster for last weekend against Florida. He was not eligible to play. They knew they were going to use him on Tuesday in this game, and that is what LSU has decided to do. I believe that to be the right thing. William Schmidt going 7 shutout innings against Florida back on Thursday was not going to change LSU's fortune for the NCAA tournament. They have to win all their games here. So despite what you may think about the odds for LSU running the table in Hoover, they've got to try, and that's what they're going to do. Schmidt has been okay this year. Not great. He's been okay. He faced Oklahoma back in the matchup at Alec Box Stadium. He did not last a long time in that game, only 4 innings, but he did only allow 1 run. He gave that up on 6 hits. He struck out 7. Did a nice job against an Oklahoma offense that is just okay. And for that reason, I think this is a pretty good matchup. Most Tuesday matchups are pretty good. Not a lot of great teams taking the field in Hoover today. Ole Miss is pretty good. They're playing today, but they're the highest-ranked team in the conference that is playing today. They're playing the worst team in the conference in Missouri. But South Carolina is not any good. Obviously, LSU has had a brutal season. Oklahoma is not great. I mean, you're looking at the bottom of the Southeastern Conference that's taking the field today. So most of your matchups are good. But I would suggest this is a pretty good one because Oklahoma is not a fierce offensive team. Those are the teams LSU has almost no chance against. And they haven't beaten them this year. A&M's got a really good offense. They came to the box and swept LSU. Georgia has a really good offense. They bashed LSU all over the place in Athens. Mississippi State can really hit. They took it to LSU in Starkville. Florida's got some real talented hitters. They're middle of the pack offensively, but they tore LSU up in the box over the weekend. But I look at this Oklahoma team, and if we're just looking at league games, inside league games, Oklahoma is 6th in batting average, 10th in on base, 12th in runs scored, 10th in doubles, 11th in homers. There are 8 teams that strike out less, so they strike out a decent amount. The only thing that really jumps off the page at Oklahoma offensively is that they do steal a lot of bases. They are 2nd in the SEC in that department behind Kentucky. So it's a team that does have some talented guys. Dayton LaChance had an awesome year in conference games. Not for the season, in conference games. He hit 11 homers in 30 conference games. Cam Johnson, a different one. They have Cam Den Johnson and Cam Run Johnson. Cam Den Johnson hit 350 with 6 homers in SEC play. Deshaun Harris hit 380 in league play and was 11 for 11 on steals in 29 games. So they do have some pieces. It's not a bad offensive team. South Carolina's a bad offensive team. Oklahoma's not a bad offensive team, but they're not great. And then William Schmidt should have a decent chance. He is more than rested. He's had full rest after throwing Friday in Athens. He's now throwing on Tuesday in Hoover. I would like to see William Schmidt go out there and get over 100 pitches tonight. I realize that Jay Johnson has to manage tonight with the season in the balance, and that may make you take a guy out if he walks 2 guys or if he gives up a 2-run homer. Like, I understand that if it happens. You've got your full staff probably ready to go. Zach Cowan would be the only iffy one. He threw 60 pitches to start the game on Saturday. He's only had 2 days of rest, but Zach Cowan's a really good bounce-back arm. He's durable, and he doesn't have huge professional aspirations, I wouldn't imagine. So if he needs to throw tonight, he'll throw tonight. But I would love it, for the sake of William Schmidt, for the sake of LSU's running this tournament, for the sake of Schmidt's development moving into next year, I would love it if he took the baseball in a spacious stadium. The ball is jumping today. There's been a lot of home runs in the morning, but in a spacious stadium against an average offense in the league, and if he could go, it would be awesome. If he could go 6 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, that would be great. I don't know that that's asking for the moon, and there's like 60% of me that's asking for that based on the game tonight, and there's like 35% of me that's asking that just to see William Schmidt go out there and do that, because he didn't do it a lot this year. He did it against Kentucky, had a nice outing against Kentucky. He did it against South Carolina, had a nice outing against South Carolina. Those are 2 of the weakest lineups in the SEC that he had that success against. For a lot of William Schmidt's outings this year, it's been 4 2/3, 3 or 4 runs, 5 or 7 strikeouts, 2 or 3 walks, out of the game early. Pitch count elevated. That's just kind of been what he is, and I hope that you get a little bit more than that in the game tonight. I'm looking at Oklahoma's pitching staff for this game, and they are pitching off. Motivation is not there for Oklahoma tonight. I'll paint you the picture for them. They won 14 SEC games, 14 and 16. They've got an RPI of 20. They are in the field. They also are not going to host. So you're looking at a 2 seed for Oklahoma, maybe a very, very high 3 seed. But they cannot host, and they can't fall out of the field. A loss to LSU today is maybe dings their RPI a tiny amount on a neutral site, but they're going to be in the low 20s in the RPI with 14 SEC wins. They will be in the NCAA tournament. So you're facing a team tonight with nothing on the line. There are a few teams that have nothing on the line in Hoover. Georgia, nothing. Texas, nothing. Oklahoma, nothing. Tennessee, nothing. Like, there are some teams that have nothing on the table. Now, there are others that do have work to do. I think Auburn would maybe like to win one. I think they're locked in as a top 8, but you never know what's going to happen this week. Alabama's playing for a top 8. Ole Miss is trying to get into a hosting position. Mississippi State is trying to lock down a hosting spot. A&M's trying to play its way to a top 8. There are a lot of teams that do have something on the table. Oklahoma's got nothing on the table. So they're not rushing a starter out there. They're going to throw a junior lefty in the game tonight that has started 1 game all year. Gavin Jones will be their starter. His longest outing of the season is 2 2/3 innings and 36 pitches. That's as long as he's gone this year. LSU saw him early in Alec Box Stadium. I think he got 2 outs in the series. This is they're throwing a bullpen day. You're not going to see Cameron Johnson in this game. You're not going to see LJ Mercurius in this game, I don't think. Those guys pitched over the weekend, and they're not going to rush back on Tuesday. Skip Johnson knows they're traveling next week. He needs his starting pitching to be very, very good. It has been iffy this year. They're not going to throw them on a Tuesday in the Southeastern Conference Tournament. So you're getting the bullpen from Oklahoma. It's about as good a matchup as you can get. And guess what? That big stat that's running out there where LSU is 0-15 against teams with a winning record in SEC play, Oklahoma 14-16. So you're good. LSU's got a chance to compete. Right now, as we sit here, if you're Jay Johnson, you're thinking about this in a 2-game setting. You have to beat Oklahoma tonight, and then you have to beat You have to beat Auburn tomorrow. That is your 2 games, and then you get an open day. You get an off day on Thursday if you do it. Auburn is in an interesting spot. I mentioned this yesterday. I think they've got a top 8 locked down. Auburn has 17 SEC wins, 17 quad 1 wins, and their RPI is 3. I think even if they lose to LSU, because most teams are going to lose this week. You always have to keep that in mind. Some won't, but most teams are going to lose this week. Auburn with 17 Q1 wins, 17 SEC wins, and an RPI of 3, to me, is a top 8. And so the question is, tomorrow, are you going to see Jake Marciano, who would be on a day short rest? He threw 102 pitches against Georgia on Thursday. He is their ace. He is their horse. He is the best guy they've got. They've got the lowest ERA in the SEC, but he is their dude. They have 3 options with him. Hold him and just keep him on normal rest. He would probably pitch on Friday. Well, it would be a day extra rest. If they win, they wouldn't play till Friday. So you would hold him until Friday. You can just throw him normal on 1 day short rest, or you can Paul Skeens it and throw him out there for 3 innings and say, all right, that's it. But either way, like 2 of those 3 ways, you're not getting the full Auburn ace treatment. So if you're Jay Johnson, find a way to beat Oklahoma with William Schmidt tonight. Hopefully Auburn is not motivated. They don't throw their ace and you got a chance. And then you get an off day and you reset your pitching staff and then you got to go beat the big boys 3 times in a row. I hear myself out loud, I promise, guys. But look, this is all I've got left. All we got left is this week. That's it. So I'm going to cling to this week, and then we'll move on when it's over. It might be over tonight at midnight. And guess what? I'll come in here, we'll do the obituary, and then we'll push off the deck. But right now, they got a game to play. They're in the mix. They're in it until they lose. William Schmidt's going to take the baseball tonight, sometime around 9 o'clock probably, and you got to hope you can find one. And then you get to the next one, you find one. And if you can get 2 wins, you get a day off and you reset. And then you got to show up and play some real teams. So we'll see how it all works out. As I mentioned, Ole Miss and Missouri are playing right now. They have inched into the 9th inning finally. Looks like Missouri's got a 4-run lead. So if Ole Miss can't score 4 at least in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Rebels will almost assuredly be traveling for NCAA tournament play. They were probably a game short in the league of getting that win over Alabama on Saturday, and they didn't, so they slipped down 1. RPI looks good, but the conference record is not quite as good. And then you lose to Missouri, your RPI kind of sits still, and they're not going to have enough, so they'll have to travel. They were going to probably have to get to Friday to feel good about it. I think it's Thursday in their case, but they're probably going to have to get to Thursday, win at least 2 games, maybe win a third, get to Saturday to feel like they had a chance to host. They will not. It doesn't appear, unless they can get 4 in the bottom of the 9th against Missouri. And hey, it is Missouri, so that could happen, I suppose. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Step aside. When we come back, LSU basketball is in the headlines. A lot of people not too happy about them, but could be a very, very impactful day for LSU basketball. I'll tell you what I'm talking about next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet, GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. The entire inventory is right there. The entire inventory is right there. So you can see everything from their new vehicles, which are phenomenal, to the pre-owned, if that's more your style. Either way, they've got them online because they've got them on the lot right there at Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You're going to get wonderful customer service with the Fabry family. That's what they've been doing for 35 years. That's what their reputation has been built off of. That's why you go visit them when you're looking for a new vehicle. So if you've got a high school graduate who may need a new ride, if you feel like your lease is about to be up and it's time for you to get behind the wheel of a new ride, or you got that family road trip coming up and you're just not sure this old dog is going to hunt anymore, get you a new one. Fabry Chevrolet GMC has got you there on Highway 61. An entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up.
Storm season just about here. Our friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services are ready to help you install that Generac home standby generator at your house, at your business. So you've got the peace of mind to know the power's not going to go out on you. I talk about getting that generator at home every day, and that's obviously something Boudreaux's Electrical does a ton of. But if you're a business owner, property owner, and you want to make sure that your business doesn't lose power, Boudreaux's Electrical Services is happy to help you out commercially. Give them a call, 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562, or the Gonzales location at 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. Boudreaux's Electrical Services, Neil and Melissa have been running it for 40 years down here in South Louisiana. They can help you get that Generac home standby generator installed before those storms show up here in South Louisiana. Give them a call. Again, that number's been the same for 40 years, 985-397-1562, or online at boudreauxelectrical.com. I misread the scoreboard earlier. It's 10-8, not 10-6, because my eyes are just not good anymore.
You've been supposed to get glasses.
I mean, here's the deal. I probably do need glasses, but the only time I find that it affects me significantly is reading television scoreboards.
Yeah.
And it's really, I can see my one at home because I'm closer to it and this TV is bigger, but here we have 4 TVs, so they're kind of smaller and tucked away. I'm kind of far away. I can't see it. It looked like a 6. I walked out of the studio. I went, oh, that's an 8, so I'm wrong. My eyes are bad. I'm old. It's just what it is. It's been a slow deterioration. But Ole Miss down the last 2 outs, 10-8 is the score in Hoover, Game 1 of the Southeastern Conference Baseball Tournament. All right, let's talk about LSU basketball. Yesterday, we gave you the story of LSU attempting to lure a 25, soon-to-be 26-year-old player from Israel to man the point guard position. And I said, look, this guy's been playing professional basketball for like 7 years. That seems a little odd to me, but if it's still within the rules, whatever. And it sounds like it may be, it may not be, we're not sure. And now we're on to the next bit of drama with LSU, which doesn't involve a player who's technically too old, just one that left college to go be a professional and now wants to come back. That's the case with R.J. Lewis. RJ Lewis may be a name that is familiar to you as a college basketball fan. He's an excellent player. He started his college career at UMass in the A-10. He earned a starting role there for the Minutemen and transferred to St. John's for his sophomore and junior seasons, where he played for Rick Pitino and became a star in college basketball. He was the 2024-2025 Big East Player of the Year. For St. John's, a good team, he averaged 18 points, averaged better than 7 rebounds, was a consensus second-team All-American, shot 44% from the field, shot 34% from 3, shot 75% from the free throw line, was a go-to scorer on one of the better teams in the country at St. John's, and then decided to forego what would have absolutely been a 7-figure NIL and revenue-sharing situation to go play professionally. And he didn't get drafted. Then he got signed on a 2-way deal by the Jazz, who then traded him to the Celtics. He played with the Celtics, I believe, in the Summer League, but was waived an option to the G League. And then he was dealing with a knee issue and some rehab, and he never played a game with the G League or the Boston Celtics, and certainly not the Jazz, who traded him immediately after they signed him. So he left college to go to the NBA, I use air quotes here, but go to the professional ranks, and then went undrafted, which I think most people suggested he probably would. He's 6'7". He's not a great shooter. He's a really good college player. And he didn't get drafted, and he got signed, and 2 teams coveted him because he got signed, and then he got traded, but the Celtics brought him into camp and then decided he was going to be optioned to the G League. He wasn't going to make the team. And then he didn't play. Well, now LSU and probably a lot of teams in the country are waving cash around, and he's going, well, I didn't play in the NBA. I didn't play in the G League. He's still within the 5-year window because he played a year at UMass, 2 years at St. John's. That's 3. Then the 4th year, he was out of the picture in the professional ranks, but not playing, and now he wants to come back for year 5 and cash in. 2 things on this. 2 things. One, I think this is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous for someone to leave college basketball to be signed essentially by 2 NBA organizations, go through a summer process, and assigned to a G League team, and then waived, and then come back to college basketball. I think that's patently absurd. It goes right back to my discussion yesterday, where I was like, it's okay to have some rules. We can have some rules governing sports. It may not align with exactly what the founding fathers thought when they wrote the Constitution, but we can have some rules in college sports. And this appears to just be flouting all the rules. That's one part of this. Now, I don't back down off that at all. I thought it was absurd that Charles Bediako wanted to come back. I think it's absurd to go get somebody that's played for 7 years professionally in Israel to play, that's 26 years old. And I think it's absurd for this to be a situation for LSU basketball. I think it's absurd. But there's probably going to be a legal battle over this, and I don't know how that's going to work out. But if RJ Lewis is eligible to play basketball for LSU, he's really, really, really good. I turned on the highlight tape today. I mean, I saw him play at St. John's. I remember him. But he is a great driver at 6'7". He's got excellent length. He's got elite athleticism. He throws down nasty monster dunks. Driving to the bucket in transition. He knows what he's doing, got great body control. He's just not an NBA size because he's 6'7" and doesn't shoot it great. He's okay. He's a 33% three-point shooter. He's not like a bricklayer, and he shoots 75% from the free throw line. He's got some touch, but at 6'7" in the NBA, you better either be locking people up on defense or knocking down shots, because you can't just be a driver at 6'7" in the NBA with no ability to test teams from the outside. And for their standards, I mean, did you watch that game last night? You see those guys getting buckets? Man. I don't think nobody missed in the last 2 overtimes that I saw. So that he's just not a fit for the NBA game, which is why he didn't get drafted and why 2 teams have decided they don't need him on their roster. He would be an elite SEC scorer if he came to LSU. You could pencil him in for 16, 17 a night in the Southeastern Conference. And I understand why Will Wade is looking at this going, well, there don't appear to be a lot of rules here. This guy wants to play college basketball. I'll give him a shot. I mean, LSU's basically got dibs here. And if Lewis is eligible, then he's on the team. And if, in my opinion, common sense prevails and he's not, well, no harm, no foul. If you hadn't spent a bunch of money on him, I don't know what the agreement is. But LSU has basically got dibs on RJ Lewis. They also got another commitment yesterday evening from another guy with an interesting story, but this guy he's going to be eligible. He's going to be on the team. His journey would have been laughable 15 years ago, but it's not now. It's just par for the course. Austin Nunez was a top 60 player nationally out of high school. He was a McDonald's All-American candidate. He didn't make the team, but he was right there in consideration. And he ended up going to Arizona State, where as a freshman, he played in 28 games with 2 starts. Then he jumped in the portal, and he went to Ole Miss, and he played there 30 games. He did not start there, but played 30 games for the Rebels, and then transferred out of Ole Miss and went back to Arizona State. And at Arizona State, he only played in 4 games, which is a redshirt year there for him, dealing with an injury. And then he transferred from Arizona State to UTSA, where I believe one of his parents was a standout player at UTSA. He's from San Antonio, and went back to UTSA last year in his 4th season, but he has a redshirt year. Played 22 games, had 21 starts, and did a nice job. As I watched the highlights of Austin Nunez, I am reminded a little bit of De'Don Thomas. Now, I will tell you that some of that is because he is left-handed. They're both good athletes, not great. They're both left-handed. They're both good shooters, not great. They're college point guards with kind of a low professional ceiling. But I thought he had a pretty good year at UTSA. He averaged on the season 9.8 points, so about a 10-point score. Also dished out about 3 assists per game. Was a good job of facilitator. On the highlight tape, you look at him from a couple of years ago. I didn't see anything from UTSA, but a lot of high ball screen action, a lot of kind of penetrating and manipulating his way into the paint. He's not like a slasher and a big driver, but does a good job of kind of managing his way on the floor. Good awareness. I think grew up in a basketball house, and that's the same thing with De'Don Thomas. I think De'Don Thomas is a more proven commodity. What we saw from LSU, especially him as a distributor, probably gives me a little bit more confidence in his ability than Austin Nunez. But this feels like a potential backup point guard spot, and I think that is, you bring a kid in who's older. He's played 4 years of college basketball, but there's a clean red shirt in there, so no concerns with that. This looks like a pretty good ad. I would imagine this is not a super expensive ad, although I have no way of knowing whether it is or it isn't. But just a left-handed point guard type who can distribute a little bit, who can shoot a little bit. What was his three-point percentage? For his career, it's 31%. Last year, 25%, so not great. But at Ole Miss, he did shoot 42% from 3 with a smaller sample size, but he did shoot it a little bit better at Ole Miss. When you watch him, it's a pretty good-looking shot. And I would imagine he can shoot it a little bit. So not a huge splash ad, not a guy that's going to be a 15-point-per-game scorer, not going to lead the SEC in assists, but I think a solid depth piece for the backcourt for this team. So Will Wade continuing to put some pieces together. How many of those pieces are going to be eligible? That is something we're just going to have to learn. And I think that's probably when he told John Rothstein, hey, like, it's light based on what y'all know. We've got 7 or 8 guys. We'll have some paperwork. We'll get some things announced by August. And that's what he's talking about with like the RJ Lewis situation. He's just that's probably gonna have to go to court. That may be a deal where he gets eligible right before the season. Maybe he does before. Maybe he's ruled ineligible. Maybe he is ruled eligible midway through the season. I have no idea. But it's a spot that I just don't think is the real point here. But look, as I said yesterday, he throws the purple and gold on, and the court says he's eligible. Play ball. Go Tigers. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's talk some more Tigers. Glenn West will be with us when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Oxford wants to remind everybody that May is Stroke Awareness Month. It is Stroke Awareness Month, but part of that is stroke prevention as well. You can control your blood pressure with because high blood pressure is a major risk factor if it is left untreated. Ask your doctor about ARB, it's another major risk factor. And the symptoms can include heart palpitations, lightheadedness, dizziness, shortness of breath. Make sure that you stop smoking. Ochsner's free smoking cancellation program can help you if you go to ochsner.org/quit. Manage your cholesterol levels, get regular exercise. All these things can be vital in help preventing strokes. Something we're talking about all month long here in May. For more information, you can go to ochsner.org. It's Stroke Awareness Month here in May from our friends at Ochsner.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Find them at immense.net, immense.net. Ole Miss falls to Missouri in the opener in Hoover. Rebs will be a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Wouldn't be spicy if they got sent down the road to Hattiesburg. If Southern Miss becomes one of those top 16 hosts, especially one towards the back end of the top 16, Ole Miss is one of the better 2 seeds. Might be a fit in Hattiesburg, which would be pretty spicy. Of course, when the Rebs won the College World Series back in 2022, you saw them come from Hattiesburg in the Super. So we'll see if that, in fact, becomes the case. But yeah, Ole Miss is out in Hoover. They'll start game 2 here within the next 30 minutes. Let's talk some LSU Tigers. Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7, good enough to give us some time on Tuesdays. Glenn, how are you?
Doing well, Hunt. How about yourself?
Doing all right. LSU baseball swept over the weekend against Florida. They got swept 5 of the last 6. I'm curious where you want to start with that and how we got here.
Yeah, I mean, how much time you got? I think we're just kind of in a really bizarre situation here. It's a season unlike any I've certainly ever been around, and I think if you look back at the record books, it kind of backs that up too. This was a pretty historically poor season for baseball, and I think you have to start with the pitching. I think that was probably the biggest surprise in terms of just how many guys just didn't seem to get better. I'm not sure you could really point to anybody on this pitching staff and say that they were better than they were a year ago that returned. And I think, from a new pitcher perspective, I think you got some good moments out of Cooper Moore before he got hurt. But, there's just a lot of work to do, I think, to rebuild that side of the things. And, look, position player side, I think you had some guys that, were pretty much what they were last year. I think Milam has certainly improved. I think Derek Curiel has been about what he was last year. But, it's just they needed some of these guys to take maybe a few bigger steps, and they just were not really able to do that, I think, this year. So unfortunate, and, you got a lot of work to do now here in the offseason to rebuild this thing.
What pitcher, relative to the expectations on him, had the best season for LSU this year? It's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I would probably lean Zach Callen just because I think that Zach Callen was pretty much the pitcher that he was a year ago. He got off to a really rough start. He had some moments this year where he wasn't maybe as consistent as he had shown maybe at times last year. But I think when he was on, he was about the pitcher that he was last year, and probably the guy that was most like himself, I guess, from a year ago. So I would probably say Zach Callen.
All right, well, we'll kind of do the autopsy on this awful baseball season when that time comes. But they do play tonight against Oklahoma. What kind of chance do you give them over the next few days to win a game, win a couple of games, make anything interesting?
Yeah, look, I think it was a pretty positive finish to the season for the offense in particular. I think in 3 of the last 4 series, you can say that those guys really started to find a rhythm and kind of find themselves a little bit there. And so I do think you can hold out some hope that maybe the offense continues to stay hot and they can put up 8, 9, 10 runs and make it interesting here. They just got to make sure they're not giving up 10, 11, 12 runs in that respect as well. And I think that, look, I went back and did a little bit of a deep dive on that Oklahoma series. William Schmidt did a pretty nice job against Oklahoma. I think he went 4 innings, gave up maybe 1 or 2 runs, and struck out 6 or 7 guys. I think he's probably going to need to go a little bit deeper in terms of innings pitched today, and I think that's a big reason why you saw LSU hold him for this last weekend series against Florida, getting him ready and getting him prepared, getting LSU off to a hot start. I think that's going to be massively important for Schmidt and for LSU to have a chance today. And really, you just got to take this one game at a time. I mean, they're treating this like a postseason, and in the postseason, you can never look ahead to 2 or 3 days from now. You're playing for your season every day here going forward, and I think it's going to be massively important that Schmidt gets him off on the right page tonight.
That's the interesting part of this. Does Jay Johnson manage this with the week in mind, or does he manage it with today only in mind? I mean, does he go with William Schmidt, and if he's in trouble in the third, you go to Case and Evans and have Zach Callen warming up, or do you say, hey, William, we're planning on scoring some runs against Oklahoma's bullpen today. We may let you take some lumps because we've got to save some pitching to continue to win games moving forward. I'm just curious how he'll handle it. You're saying day by day, so unleash everybody today. What do you think he will do?
Yeah, I think just watching his postseasons in the past, he's always been about that game and what gets LSU to the win in that specific game. Whether it's, pitching Paul Skeens, for example, in a regional and having him go the full 9 innings, a few years ago, like what pitcher is going to set me up best to just get out of this game and win this game? And so I would guess that he leans towards that as kind of his, and I think he's showing that here with Schmidt, who has been kind of your best quote unquote starter for most of the season. He's been kind of your guy that has, had certainly some struggles throughout this season, but has also given you some really nice moments as well. And I think, that would be kind of my guess is where Jay goes with this. But look, this is also uncharted waters for him and for LSU. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they give him a little bit of a longer leash. But if you're in a tight game in the 4th or 5th inning and Schmidt's maybe getting into a little bit of trouble, I would expect to see one of your big bullets, whether it's, Devin Sheeran or, Zach Cowan or just one of your better pitchers there to maybe help get you through this game and then attack tomorrow.
It's a struggle to come up with big bullets on this team.
Exactly. Like you can throw a dart and just kind of say, hey, maybe this guy can go get me some outs. But that's kind of just been their whole season. So it's very interesting.
Glenn West is our guest, senior writer over at Go 24/7. Obviously, LSU basketball is in the news for many reasons over the last 24 hours. Going to get a potentially 26-year-old from Israel, going to get a former G Leaguer and a guy that has been part of 2 NBA organizations today.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the way that Will Wade has gone about some of this, and then the national reaction to it?
Yeah, look, he's taking a lot of risks, a lot of gambles here. It's no surprise that he wants to be older and more experienced and more veteran, and he's exhausting every little crack in the system that he can to try to get that kind of a team. But look, I think a lot of this is just going to come down to what judge you get, because they're going to be filing a lot of waivers. They're going to be filing a lot of these processes that go very, very long, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here with more Luis, R.J. Lewis, the guy that they just brought in. I think he's got a different case than maybe some of the ones that we saw this last year that were kind of a similar vein. The Charles Bediacos of the world from Alabama. He played for 2 years in the G League. And, I think the case with Lewis here can be, yes, he signed a 2-way contract with the Celtics or with the Jazz, but he never actually played in a game. Maybe there's an avenue there to where they can just find the right judge on the right day to say, hey, this guy never really played professional basketball, so can he come back and exhaust his final year? So it's experimental, and we'll see kind of what happens there. But I think I don't fault Will Wade for trying to find every little advantage that he can in the current system, because there just are no guardrails, there are no rules right now, and whatever it takes to build the best roster possible, he's going to try to exhaust here.
Say they come up aces and all these guys get eligible. What do you think of the team?
If they all get eligible, it's a very interesting team, like a very interesting mix of guys. There's still a couple more out there that I think they're in on that could really solidify, that 7 or 8 man group that he's trying to go after. And I think in an ideal world, if they get the guys that they're going after and all these processes go through and they're cleared and eligible, this is going to be a very good team. And Lewis is going to be right at the center of this thing. That was a massive, massive addition. And just talking with a few people around the program, like if that gets final and that gets done, they feel really good about him being like one of the centerpieces of this team. And I think that's they're moving in a really interesting way with this roster. But again, you got until July, August to make this, to get all these guys on board and eligible. And so we'll see here if they're able to actually get all these players over the hump and eligible.
Glenn, we appreciate some time. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks, Lon.
He is Glenn West, senior writer for Go 24/7. Team covers, recruiting covers. They got you covered over there at Go 24/7. I want to remind you about my friends at GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTrosOnline.com is the website, GoTrosOnline.com. GoTros, they can get you behind the wheel of a new zero-turn mower for $100 a month. So if you're looking for a new Raptor, new Hustler, they got you covered right there at GoTro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and in Gonzales. They've been the National Hustler Dealer of the Year for 2 of the last 3 years. They've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far. So if you've got property, you've got a big yard, you want to get that zero-turn mower, it's time now. That grass is growing like crazy. GoTro's needs to be your stop because they got unbelievable customer service, and they know this community. So if you need a delivery, they got you covered with trailers. If you need parts delivered, they've got trucks on the road every single day. It's GoTro's Outdoor Power. They're online at GoTrosOnline.com. 2 locations. They're here in Baton Rouge on Airline and, of course, in Gonzales as well. GoTro's Outdoor Power. Let's keep chugging along here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Reminder that I'll be out at Court at the Table tonight. We'll be watching LSU baseball if it starts on time. We're going to start at 8 no matter what at Sports Trivia at Court at the Table today. We'll have the SEC tournament on. No word when LSU's going to start. They got to play 2 more baseball games right now, and 8 o'clock is about 6 hours away. So if you think they're going to finish 2 more baseball games in that window, probably ambitious. So you're looking closer to 9:15 tonight for LSU. That's just the way it goes in the SEC baseball tournament. So we'll be there at Court at the Table tonight at 8 o'clock. If you're looking for something to do, come on out and see us. You can win gift cards, get delicious food, and win gift and play trivia. It's a lot of fun. We always enjoy it. Always have a good crowd. So hope to see y'all out there at Court at the Table on Burbank tonight for sports trivia. We still got plenty to do here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. In hour number 2, we'll hear some sound from Tyler Shough. We'll talk about Josh Dobson, a 5-star cornerback that LSU was in on, may not be visiting LSU again. Sharif Ishak, WDSU, will be with us in 45 minutes. So plenty to do. We'll come back and close out hour number 2 when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. FABT.com. FABT.com is that website. Let freedom fly. They've got an incredible deal at their Dutchtown store tomorrow. It's not really a deal. It's free. They're giving away 500 flags. Full-size American flags. If you'd like a flag, get on by First American Bank and Trust and pick one up tomorrow. First come, first serve. When they open the doors, get on by and grab that flag. They want this entire community lit up in red, white, and blue for Memorial Day coming up this weekend, and they're doing their part. And you can do your part by going to pick up a flag and then letting it fly over the weekend. It's a community bank, and this is just another example of them being a part of their community, making sure their community is properly celebrating Memorial Day. It's a local bank. They've been here for 116 years. They'll be here for 116 more. So if you're looking for somebody to handle your commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. Looking for somebody to handle your personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. 25 locations in Southeast Louisiana. First American Bank and Trust.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. When I say IT, you probably think about your department that's just there whenever a computer freezes. That's kind of what your general thought is about IT. They're more than that, much more than that. In fact, they're a managed service provider, an MSP. You're talking about a full IT department that's working for you, but they're not on your payroll. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, monitoring your IT system before anything goes wrong. Instead of calling some national call center when something goes wrong IT-wise, just have a local Baton Rouge base IT company that is here managing your system 24/7. If you run a business and don't have someone proactively managing your technology, you're one bad day away from a significantly expensive problem. Be proactive about that. Immense Network Cloud IT Management is happy to do that. You can check them out online, immense.net, immense.net. All right, let me get you caught up briefly on the SEC tournament situation over there in Hoover. As we mentioned a couple times, Ole Miss goes down to Missouri. The Rebs will be a 2 seed. Missouri lives to play another day. They'll play Mississippi State tomorrow morning from Hoover. The next game is Kentucky and Vanderbilt. It's a very fascinating game. Vanderbilt is not going to get in the NCAA tournament unless they win this thing. Their RPI is in the 70s. Yes, they won 14 league games. That's usually good enough. The RPI is a disaster. So they are not going to get in unless they win the whole tournament. So that's what they're here to do. Kentucky has an interesting case. They are truly the bubble team in the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky lost 8 out of 10 SEC series. 8 out of 10. And they're right there and likely to get in the field. Their RPI is very good. They put on a masterclass this year of don't get swept. And it's an interesting thing because you could say, well, you lost 8 out of 10 series. Like, do you really deserve to get in? And the question is, do you look at it that way in college baseball that creates a 3-game series? Like, how often are you winning 2 out of 3? Or are you just going to throw those 30 SEC games in a bucket and go, well, Kentucky got 13 of them. That's enough. I tend to lean the second way. I don't really care. I think it's bad that you've lost 8 out of 10. But winning a game here or there just because you've lost the first 2 in the series, like, you still won that game. So, I don't like Nick Mingio and I don't like Kentucky. But I think their case is okay based on the metrics and the fact that they won 13 games. You win a 14th against Vanderbilt here, and they'll be sitting pretty. I think they'd feel great if they could win 2 games, but 1 I think is probably enough. But an NCAA bid may be on the line for Kentucky today. I don't think it is, but it may be. They'll play Vanderbilt. Then you got South Carolina and Tennessee. Gamecocks obviously have to win the entire thing. And then you got Tennessee, who is not going to host and is in the field, so not a lot for the Vols to play with tonight. And then, of course, as we mentioned, you got LSU and Oklahoma coming up in the nightcap. LSU's path through this thing is Oklahoma on Tuesday, Auburn on Wednesday, A&M on Friday, then likely Texas or Arkansas on Saturday, and then probably Georgia or Mississippi State on Sunday. So for LSU to win this thing, it probably looks like, and I trust me, guys, I hear myself out loud. Don't question it. It's just, this is what we're here to do. They lose tonight, we don't have to do it anymore. But LSU would have to likely beat Oklahoma, Auburn, A&M, Texas, and Georgia. Like, that's what it probably looks like. So let's just start tonight with Oklahoma. It'll be William Schmidt on the mound for LSU. And as I mentioned, this game is scheduled, the Kentucky-Vanderbilt scheduled for 2 o'clock. Perhaps could get underway at a reasonable time. Your problem is that you're trying to play at 5:30 with South Carolina and Tennessee. That's in 3.5 hours. Unless Kentucky and Vanderbilt really move at a quick clip, probably not going to start that game on time, and that obviously just bumps all the way back. Right now, not dealing with any weather, so that's a good thing. I'm a little cranky about the week as a whole currently. This is my favorite week of the year. It involves watching a lot of baseball, LSU being involved heavily in inconsequential baseball, which they're not this weekend. I like that part of it. And then I play in a big golf tournament up in North Louisiana this weekend, and the forecast is for the wettest week of the year in Shreveport. So that's just a sad state of affairs. And I'm a little bit pouty about it, if we're being honest. I'm trying to kind of suppress that and do a radio show here, but I have been a little bit pouty for the last 24 hours because the forecast is so bad for North Louisiana. They quit putting the percentages of rain. It crept up. It was like 80, 90%, and then they just took the percent off, and it just says thunderstorms for the whole time. So that's not making me happy. And I'm not happy about LSU's baseball team, but I'm happy that we're wrapping up hour number 1 here, and we'll talk about something a little bit happier with Tyler Shough and Jordan Tyson on the Saints coming up. We'll also talk some Saints with Sharif Ishak and some LSU football recruiting coming up in 20 minutes. If you missed any of hour number 1, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt Palmer Show or wherever your podcasts are. Certainly Hunt on LSU and Hunt on Saints as well. We will pause for national headlines with SportsCenter. We will come back. Coming up next, hour number 2, the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team, they're phenomenal folks to work with, and they understand what the marketplace looks like in terms of property and casualty insurance as well as benefits. Both sides have hard markets that are making things tough on business owners because the premiums are just growing and growing and growing. It just hurts the bottom line. And at the Highland Insurance Group, they're an independent broker. So they're able to shop dozens of carriers for you, whether it's on the benefits side, whether it's on the property and casualty side. So if you've had a renewal that's been uncomfortable, you're dreading a renewal that's coming up, or you're just not happy with the level of service that you're getting from your current insurance broker, the Highland Insurance Group would love to be the next best option, would love to put a second set of eyes on your situation. Whether that's benefits or P&C, they can do it at the Highland Insurance Group. They're based here in Baton Rouge. They're also online at HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishGroup.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know hard work starts with the right equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor with loader for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, this is the tractor built to get it done. Don't wait. This offer ends April 30th, 2026. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice ordered to serve 30 days in jail for violating his parole after testing positive for marijuana. He'll miss OTAs and mandatory minicamp. Rice was serving probation for his involvement in a multi-car crash in 2024. The NBA's Eastern Conference Finals tip off tonight with the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers. Game 1, 7:30 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern ESPN. Cleveland's had one day off after its Game 7 win. Former 12-time NBA All-Star Chris Paul.
Game 1, it'll be interesting to see who sets the tone. Jalen has the ball a lot of the times with the Knicks, and obviously Donovan to James. James plays a little bit of a slower game for the most part, so it's going to be interesting to see how this series starts off and who guards who sets the tone.
New York has had 11 days off. Pistons GM Trajan Langdon has said he wants to bring back center Jalen Duren. He can become a restricted free agent this summer. Detroit can match other teams' offers. Canucks fired coach Adam Foote after just 1 year and a last-place finish in the NHL.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, I'll tell you what Wemby will do for an encore in Game 2 and why this series could be over quicker than we thought. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Immense Networks. Or online at immense.net, immense.net. Sharif Ishaq talking Saints and a little bit of Pels in 30 minutes. LSU football recruiting update coming your way in 15 minutes. Not necessarily the most encouraging news, but we'll talk about it here in 15 minutes. Game 2 of the SEC baseball tournament is underway. Vanderbilt and Kentucky in the top of the first inning. It'll be Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Connor Fennell is on the mound for Vanderbilt. I was just checking to see that, and he certainly is. And I was curious, Vanderbilt is the home team in this game. Which, yeah, that's right. They did win 14 league games. Our RPI is just terrible. I was thinking about it in my head going, wait, Vanderbilt's a team that's not going to make the tournament. Kentucky is, but Vanderbilt had a better record in the league. Their RPI is just so bad that they're going to have to win a lot of games. So it is the top of the first. It's Kentucky and Vanderbilt later on this afternoon. South Carolina and Tennessee before LSU and Oklahoma tonight. Let's talk some Saints. The Saints did have their Hall of Fame golf tournament yesterday. Opportunity for Mickey Loomis to chat with some of the assembled media. We heard from him yesterday, and now we'll hear from Saints quarterback Tyler Shough, who is in a different position this time this year than he was last year, being a rookie in a competition for that job, ultimately a competition that he would quote-unquote lose out on, as Spencer Rattler was named the starter, but Shough obviously took over in the second half of the season and led the Saints to some real wins and is firmly entrenched as the team starter. So it's just a different offseason for Tyler Shough in a lot of different ways, and he spoke about entering year 2 in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think it's just so much more comfortability. You're going into Kellen's offense year 2. We're being able to kind of really focus on what we want to focus on. The sense of urgency, I think, is the biggest thing that I've been focusing on, and for the whole unit. And then also just I think everybody is just, we're having fun. We're having fun putting in the work, and we're really close, and I think that's the best part about it.
He's got to be a leader on this team now. I think you come in as a second-round quarterback and kind of, quote-unquote, know your role, and you just kind of keep your head down, make sure you're working. But when you graduate from second-round draft pick, rookie quarterback to the starting quarterback, obviously things change significantly. And he kind of spoke to that because now he's got a rookie class to get to know. And oh, by the way, you took a rookie wide receiver in the first round. You took another wide receiver in the middle rounds with Bryce Lance, and you took a third wide receiver with Barryon Brown. So not only is there a new draft class here, but it's a new draft class that he's got to immediately jive with. And he spoke to trying to get his feet on the ground with the newcomers.
So far, I mean, they've just been great people. I getting to know those guys. You know, I wanted to make sure I talked to every single one of them and just make them feel welcome, because obviously I was in their shoes last year, and so a lot of change. And I think the biggest thing is they've done a really good job putting in the work, and you know, they haven't really said much. We've been in kind of separate groups, but when we've done the competitions together, when we're working out with them, they're super receptive, and you know, they've been learning the playbook really well.
That's all very good news. I was listening to a podcast the other day that I've been listening to weekly. The Cubs 2016 teams having their 10-year reunion, and Anthony Rizzo and David Ross are talking to a lot of those guys 10 years later about that run. And where I'm going with this is Ross was like a big leader on that team. Rizzo was a big leader on that team, but they had a lot of really young players. And they decided, as the veterans, that they were going, with understanding how impactful those rookies were going to be. And not that this means anything to most of you driving around, but like that team had Kyle Schwarber, who was very young, Chris Bryant, who was very young, Javi Baez, who was very young, Wilson Contreras, very young, Albert Almora, very young. Like, they had a lot of very young guys that were key pieces to what they were trying to do. So instead of like hazing those guys and making it to where they felt intimidated as rookies, they decided, which was different at the time, like, hey, we're going to throw our arms around these guys and make them know that they're part of what we're doing. And I think that's unanimous at this point. The days of like significant hazing and whatnot, it just doesn't work in today's society. So I wouldn't suggest that the Saints would be doing that. But it's a deal where you're becoming friends with a lot of young people very, very quickly. And though Shough is a second-year player, he's got a huge age gap between him and a lot of those guys. He's a 26-year-old guy, so he is significantly older than a lot of the rookies that are coming in. But the receivers are going to be very important to him, and he talked about that class.
Like I said, with the entire class, I think they've done a good job of coming in, putting in the work, and they've also just really kind of acclimated to the playbook really well. Bryce Lance, I mean, his speed stands out, his big playability, his catching ability. Barryon has stood out as well as far as his route running, and then Oscar and some of our other guys have been beasts. It's going to be exciting to see whenever we get rolling in camp.
I do have the different perspective of having watched Barryon Brown practice a lot. I don't watch a lot of Saints rookies practice in college. If they don't practice at that one place that I go, I don't see them practice. And I've watched Barryon Brown practice a lot because Brian Kelly gave us a ton of spring access and a ton of August access. So I got to see Barryon Brown. He does run great routes. Like, you can tell there are some guys out there that are a little bit raw, not exactly quite sure what they're supposed to be doing out there, maybe just relying on the given talent that they have, whether that's height, leaping ability, speed. Barryon Brown, we noticed that he looked like a complete wide receiver when he had a healthy quarterback to throw to him in the spring and then in early in camp. He never got to show that off because his quarterback was hurt or a backup at LSU, and he was in an inept passing offense at Kentucky. But I do think he does run some pretty good routes. I think he's got more to his game than just, hey, I'm really fast, and I ran a lot of kickoffs back for touchdowns. So that's exciting. But Barryon Brown and Bryce Lance are not necessarily the guys that you want to hear the most about. You want to hear about the guy the Saints took in the top 10 in the draft, who is supposed to come in and be the top dog at some point in this organization, whether that's right out of the chute or growing into it. Jordan Tyson is that dude, and Tyler Shough talked about him.
I think his body control and his separation is what stands out to me. I think he's an elite separator, and then also his hands have been really exciting to see kind of close up now. He's so sure-handed. He's got this great kind of feel whenever he's very friendly to the quarterback, I would say, and then obviously his big playability is what shows up all over tape. So, you know, we're still very early on in the process, and I think more than anything, just getting on the same page with the playbook, and he's doing a really good job of that. I think he's really smart, so excited to kind of keep going with him.
I mean, I admitted it pre-draft. I admitted it from Starkville, Mississippi, the Friday after the first round of the draft, and I'll admit it again now. Like, I like the pick of Jordan Tyson, and I choose to look at his physical traits as a receiver instead of the medical reports. I choose that. I'm aware of the medical reports. I choose to look at his physical traits as a receiver. And that's what Tyler Shough's talking about. And it sounds like, based on the pre-draft workouts And then what he was allowed to do, and I realize he got a day off in rookie minicamp. What he's been allowed to do with Tyler Shough, he's standing out with what he brings to the table. And it's that elite body control, great vertical leap. He's talking about the sure-handedness with the catches. We know the big playability. There's so much to like about the skill set that Jordan Tyson has. And I will sit right in this chair if he blows a hammy in week 4 and go, yeah, well, y'all are right. Y'all are right. But right now, I'm not. Right now, I'm going to look at a guy with great size, great speed, great leaping ability, who's proven himself to be a hard worker, who's coming in, learning the playbook, who's impressing the second-year quarterback. I like what I hear so far. And again, it's optimism season across the National Football League. Everybody's got a new draft class. Everybody's got a free agent class. Most people are 100% healthy. It's optimism season around the National Football League right now, and I'm choosing to embrace that with the New Orleans Saints, and I'm choosing to embrace that with Jordan Tyson, who has obviously made an impression on his quarterback early on. So I think all that sounds great. I think it's all encouraging, and I think that there's a lot of work that has to be done beyond just organized team activities, beyond organized practices that will come. Tyler Shough needs to work with these new wide receivers because you figure they're going to have a role. Tyson's will be the biggest, but you got to get out there with Olave. You got to get out there with Vela. You got to get out there with Polk and make all this stuff click. And I think there's reason to believe that the Saints will do that. I'm excited about what the Saints offense could grow into here with all of these new exciting pieces down there in Metairie. So that's Tyler Shough talking Saints here to begin hour number 2. We're brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. We will talk to Sharif Ishak about the Pelicans and Saints coming up in 15 minutes. LSU recruiting news next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. There's going to be some rain this weekend. It's in the forecast. Some of it could be significant. I've seen that from a number of different weather sources. If there is a situation where you've got damage, you see leaking, or you may think you detect some leaking, well, call Lifetime Roofing. You can trust them as a Baton Rouge-based business to come in and give you an honest assessment of your situation. They may say, yeah, it's time for a new roof, and they can help you with that, obviously. If you need financing, they got it. Want a lifetime workmanship warranty? You got it. Maybe it's not a new roof. Maybe it's a repair. They can help you with that repair. Maybe you misjudged, and there's not a significant issue, but you don't want to have one, and your roof may be a little bit older. You can do a tune-up. Reinforce that roof because you know storm season's around the corner. But you can trust the team at Lifetime Roofing to do what's right by you because they are a local company that cares about making a difference in this community. They're online at LifetimeRoofingLA.com, a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Kentucky jumps up 1-0 on Vanderbilt in the first inning. They score one off of Connor Fennell. It's Jackson Jelkin on the mound for the Wildcats, their ace, who should be fairly rested. Kentucky did go with their ace on Thursday for a two-inning save. They did not start him. They brought him in for a save on Thursday, got that win, and then were beaten in games 2 and 3 of that series. But they got the one win they were looking for. Now they'll go to him for an extended outing today. So it's Kentucky and Tennessee. It's Kentucky and Vanderbilt from the Hoover Met right now. LSU and Oklahoma tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to remind you about my friends at Marucci. You can go by and take a tour. Why would you take a tour, huh? Well, you would take a tour because that's where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. You would take a tour because they make 1,200 bats every single day, and you can see just how they're handcrafted. You can see just how they're stained and get ready to ship off to the best players in the world. And you can also learn the story about how they went from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball in 20 years. It's a gem here in Baton Rouge. So go take that tour. Also, if you've got a youth baseball, youth softball player in your house that wants to continue working even if the season in the spring is in the rearview mirror all summer long, they got you covered over there at Marucci. Become a member. Key card access to their cages 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before school, after school, middle of the day, at night, during the rain, Saturdays, whenever, Marucci can house you there 24/7 at their cages. So go check them out. It's Marucci Sports. They're online at maruccisports.com. All right, let's talk some recruiting. This is a little bit irrational, a little bit. But I feel as though Corey Raymond has the ability to just take a look at the board, identify the top 2 or 3 corners in the country, and pluck one. It's not entirely true, and it's not entirely untrue, because you look back at his track record, and the guys that he's brought in, DJ Pickett, Eli Ricks, Derek Stingley, Christian Fulton, Tre'Davious White, Greedy Williams, even Kevin Tolliver, who was a top 5 corner in the country coming out. Like, he has brought those guys in consistently year over year after year after year. And they had varying degrees of success at LSU. Rick's transferred to Bama. But, like, in the recruiting process from the high school ranks, when Corey Raymond identifies a corner that he's looking to grab, he's pretty lethal. And that's why the news that came out earlier today was a little bit surprising. Because one of the guys Corey Raymond absolutely has highlighted and put at the top of his board for the class of 2027 at corner in high school is Joshua Dobson. Dobson's from North Carolina. He goes to William Amos Shough, maybe Huff, but one of the two. William Amos Huff, we'll call it that. But he is a 5-star by Rivals, 5-star by ESPN. 24/7's got him as a 4-star. He is a top 6 corner in the country nationally. Rivals and ESPN have him as the number 2 corner in the country. He has out of central casting for a Corey Raymond corner. He's 6'1". He's already 185 pounds. He's got the length. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He is exactly what you're looking for. And Corey Raymond has been to visit him in North Carolina, and he had an official visit scheduled for LSU. Folks believe that Texas A&M is in a very good position to land him. Apparently South Carolina has jumped in the mix. Tennessee is thought to be after him, Auburn as well. But he's got offers from the big schools, and he's a guy that Corey Raymond has obviously coveted. And we found out today that he's canceling that official visit. And that's one of those where you look at it and go, that's not what I expect to happen when Corey Raymond sets his sights on a top corner. And it sounds like this is just dollars and cents. With these high school players now, especially ones of this caliber, you're talking about agents involved. They kind of run the process. And LSU has certainly won their fair share of recruiting battles in the portal in high school with agents involved, and they will certainly lose their fair share of recruiting wars with agents involved. But we know that there's a different dynamic to Corey Raymond today than there was 2 years ago, 9 years ago. The different dynamic is he's not working for Les Miles anymore. He's not working for Ed Ogeron anymore. He's not working for Brian Kelly anymore. He's working for Lane Kiffin. That's a variable. You're also dealing with a salary cap, basically. You've got revenue sharing dollars, you've got NIL commitments, and you've got a coach and a general manager who are going to allocate funds the way that they see fit. And certainly the position coaches get a chance to state their case for who they would like to sign and how important it is to his position group. But ultimately, that decision is going to lie with the coach and the general manager. How much money are we willing to spend? And if you've got commitments here, well, you may have to cut back expenses at another position. It's not at all unlike an NFL system. Like, yeah, that offensive coordinator may want that free agent wide receiver really badly. In this case, that defensive coordinator and secondary coach may want that corner in the free agent market very badly. We want to take that guy very, very badly. But they only get one say, and there are other guys in the room that carry a bigger stick. And the general manager lays out the cash, and the head coach determines this. So there's no indication from the national reporting and the local reporting that Josh Dobson became disenchanted with LSU and canceled his visit. The thought is LSU wasn't willing to match the money that some of the other guys were willing to go to for this particular case. Now, that doesn't mean that LSU is going to cry poor every position on the field. No. Jordan Seaton plays for LSU. Reports are he's catching $4 million. Sam Levitt plays for LSU. He's catching $6 million. Now, those guys were never going to play with Dobson because they're going to be here for one more year and leave, and Dobson, his money's not allocated until the next roster. But you understand the point, right? The point is you can go recruit as hard as you possibly can. But if you don't get the money allocated at your position at that spot, you're going to come up empty. And that devalues, to a certain extent, the position coach at times. Now, I'm not suggesting that Corey Raymond doesn't have any value unless they give him some cash. He'll make a play for the next guy if they feel like the dollars and cents make sense. But this is now far more structured like free agency than it is old school recruiting. Because we know that Corey Raymond in the old school recruiting world was getting those top dog corners. And oh, by the way, DJ Pickett didn't come free. Haven Finney didn't come free. LSU hasn't cut out the funding at corner. They're going to continue to work. But in this case, quite obviously, there's a player who has a price tag that some schools are willing to meet, and that LSU is kind of looking at it going, we probably need to back off and look elsewhere. And that's just a new world. I'm not telling you good or bad. I don't know if Josh Dobson is going to be the next Derek Stingley Jr. or Kevin Tolliver. One of them became the third pick in the draft and an all-pro. The other one was an okay college player that was drafted in the middle rounds, went to Chicago, and, wasn't necessarily a star. I don't know. But what I do know is that this is a whole new world for recruiting and for trying to allocate funds and figure out where you lay talent in your roster. And when I see a top 3 corner in the country cancel his LSU visit after setting it, I go, that's not something I see a lot. Let me look into that. And the folks that cover the recruiting world are all kind of in agreement that, like, yeah, Dobson really likes LSU, but there's some representation that are looking at this going, okay, we got to make sure we allocate the funds properly, and this is a little out of our price range. Sorry, Corey. There's a part of that that's sad because I love DBU, and I think they need to get back to what they've been. And maybe Dobson is one of the pieces to that after you move on from some of the guys that are in there right now. Like Pickett's got 2 more years. Woodland's got probably 2 more years. Maybe Dobson was the next man up with Haven Finney. But right now, looks like he's headed to College Station, headed to Columbia, South Carolina, headed to Knoxville, maybe even Auburn. Bummer, but it's a whole new world in recruiting. All right, our Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Looking for something to do this evening? Why don't you come see us at Sports Trivia over at Court to Table? We're watching Tiger baseball. You can win gift cards, eat some delicious food, and drink some drinks. It's always a great time. We'll be there at 8 o'clock, probably out of there by about 9:15, but they will have LSU baseball on the TVs this evening. So come by and see us at 8 o'clock for Sports Trivia at Court to Table. We'll step aside. We'll chat with Sharif Ishaq about the Saints and Pels next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. And safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. So if you're looking to try to mitigate against some of that risk with an aging loved one in your life, well, contact David. Have that free consultation. Just sitting down with David doesn't cost anything. And he'll go through what they can do. It may involve non-slip floors. It may involve handrails in slippery areas. It may involve a walk-in tub for comfort and safety. It may involve a shower with a bench in it. It may involve any or all of that. And David's happy to help you with it. Go check out the reviews on the website. He's been doing it for 30 years in this market and does it wonderfully. It's One Bath and Closets. Find the pictures of his great work online. Get that free consultation. Check it out online, OneBathAndClosets.com.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hope that work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We hang with Sharif Ishak from WDSU in New Orleans every single Tuesday. He's with us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharif, how we doing?
I'm going to start this conversation off like the last two. Are we going on a run this week?
No, we're not.
Okay.
They got a decent chance. They got a decent chance tonight. Tomorrow,
okay,
don't love it.
Give me one win. All right.
I would really like 2 wins, if I'm being honest. That would get things all the way to Friday, which is as good as I could possibly hope for, quite honestly. So we'll see. Let's talk some Saints. I want to get to the Pelicans at the end of the segment as well. Let's start with the Saints. This is not breaking news by any stretch of the imagination, but Mickey Loomis did say earlier this week that Taysom Hill does not have a contract offer from the Saints. His time is done. I just wondered if you would reflect on Taysom's time in New Orleans and kind of what his lasting legacy will be.
Well, Sean Payton unearthed him pretty much, getting him from the Green Bay Packers, making him the Swiss Army knife and using him in almost every single position possible that he could possibly use him. Yeah, he's meant a lot. I mean, he's put up, 1,000 rushing yards, passing yards, and receiving yards, plus 10 touchdowns in each category. No one's ever done that in NFL history. So, man, he's, a tough person. I mean, whenever you needed those tough yards at times in those peak years, Taysom Hill was on the field. Whenever they didn't have a quarterback in that 2021 season during that stretch run, Taysom Hill was playing quarterback. Statistically, he was a decent starting quarterback if you look at his stats and his win-loss record. So he gave the city, the franchise, a lot. And it's just, man, his body's so beat up. I mean, there's not really much more he can do. And I think his time here should be 100% appreciated. Unfortunately, it's come to an end due to how much beating and pounding his body has taken.
And it sounds like the Saints are interested in bringing Cam Jordan back if they do have a contract offer on his desk. And I think the fact that he hasn't signed anywhere else speaks volumes. Like, what does that news mean to you as you assess that situation?
I think it's business as usual. I think that's always been the case. I think Mickey Loomis pretty much put it out there in the very beginning of this entire process that Cam will be welcome back. He'll always have a place here. And, the contract, even Cam said he had 3 offers. One was from the Saints, so you knew that contract was always on the table. Yeah. If Cam was going to go sign somewhere else, he probably would have done it by now. I think Cam's probably going to enjoy a little bit of this offseason, and I could see him signing after, OTAs and minicamp. For a guy who's maybe 37, he's probably like, I don't want to go through all that.
Makes a lot of sense. That's I don't hate that idea at all, especially considering that he's already been a year in Brandon Staley's defense, so not a lot for him to sink his teeth into from a scheme perspective, and certainly the guy knows his way around an NFL defensive huddle. So the Kamara brings this thing to a head here. Where were you with that situation?
Look, I don't think they want to cut him. I think that Tyrann Mathieu podcast is pretty spot on. I don't think they want to cut him. I don't think they have the guts to cut him. I think they would love for him to make that decision. Now, if he wants to come back, I think they'll welcome him back, but they want him to be, that good leader in the locker room. They don't want him to spearhead anything else, like spearheading the whole Dennis Allen getting fired thing. He doesn't want people to go, they don't want to go rub off on him. They don't want him to go rub off on the young guys and be negative around them and talk bad. I think that's the opposite of what they want. They want him to be a leader, that number 2 or number 3 running back, with 1 year left on his contract. Now, if something were to happen, like he said, if he's going to go, drink pina colada somewhere and retire, I just don't see him playing anywhere else. So I think the writing's on the wall, Hunt. Either you come back and be, that good leader, or we'd like for you to make that decision and just leave. Because I don't know if they really want to cut him. They like to treat their veterans who've been there for a while with a lot of, loyalty and good ways. They don't want to be treating their veteran players negatively on the way out of the door. They're trying to, show him some grace and show that, he's meant a lot for this franchise.
forgive me if I'm hearing you wrong, but are you thinking there's a possibility that Alvin makes a decision like, yeah, I'm out of here because y'all don't want me? Like, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you're hearing that.
Okay.
I don't think they want to cut him. I really don't. I think because they genuinely care for their people, their veterans who've been there for a while. They just want this to be come to a resolution. They want it either for him to yeah, I'm in, I'm sold, I'm the number 2 or 3 back, and I'm going to be a good leader in the locker room. If he's just continuing to not be around, and then they just hope that he says, I'm done, I'm going to retire.
Okay.
They can kind of find a way to force it to make him do it by just saying, hey, we're not going to play you, and he'll well, then I'm done.
Yeah, it's the business side of things. Obviously, that's just a very, very interesting situation between the Saints and some real pillars of the organization over the last decade there in the black and gold. Anything for the next week and a half before we get into the month of June, and then obviously you've got your mini camps and your OTAs, and then we're getting towards the end of the summer there. Anything of significance with the Saints before we go to the Pelicans?
I'd like to see, how, even during OTAs, how much run that Jordan Tyson's going to get, even OTAs and minicamp. How much are they going to continue to say, look, we need to ramp up this process, or are they going to keep sitting him out one practice every week if they have 3 practices a week? I want to see if they sign somebody else on the slot corner. Continue to pound the pavement for this. They need to sign the slot corner in a very bad way.
Yeah,
it would not hurt them to add somebody there, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they're some of those losses. I need to see how the linebackers shape up, even with Kaden Ellis. There's a lot of questions that you have to answer, because when that schedule came out last week, I said 8-9, and I'm sticking to 8-9 because, man, the way it shapes out right now, it's tough, man. I know they have 5 playoff teams from last year, which is the fewest, but there are 3 teams on there that didn't make the playoffs that are still very good, and they start with those 2 teams on the road in 2026. So, yeah, man. I mean, just seeing how they fill out the rest of this roster in terms of the positions they desperately need to fill.
We shall see. Sharif Ishak, our guest from WDSU down in New Orleans. Pelicans kind of dragged things out a little bit. Seems like there were 3 candidates there towards the end, and they make their selection. What'd you think?
They got the guy that they've wanted all along since Willie Green was fired back in November, and Jamal Mosley. People are going to say he's Willie Green 2.0. I understand that comparison because it's both defensive coaches. To be fair, he's than Willie Green is. His defenses are some of the best in the NBA, but the problem is offense. And that was also the Pelicans' problems at the end of the games. You saw it in the playoffs for the Magic against the Pistons, where they kind of went missing at the end of some of those losses, especially in that Game 6 where they blew that massive lead and missed 23 straight field goals. So offense is going to be the thing. I've heard from Orlando people who covered him. He's a really good guy, wants to get to know everybody in the media. Players liked him until the very end there. He and Paulo Banchero bumped heads. There was some friction there. So there's no real players like that on this team who really like to bump heads with their coach. But if this thing doesn't work out, and, like a Trey Murphy still on the team, I could see him getting a little agitated and getting mad and maybe starting to ask for what's going on here. Am I part of this? Do I need to be part of this? So maybe Jamal will fix this. Maybe he can get them to the 3 straight first rounds. I mean, you can get the Pelicans to 3 straight first round appearances without going to the play, and I think Pels fans would be happy. But we're past that point with this roster, Hunt. You've got to be better than a first round playoff team.
So, is there any emotion being elicited out of New Orleans with that hire? Because it felt a little bit sleepy to me.
I agree with you. I think you'd say, well, the fans were mixed. I'd say the fans were not mixed. I think they let they were unhappy with the hire, because I think they would have. I don't know if this would have been the right move there, like Rajon Rondo, because at least it's something different player. He played here. He's a good leader. I think that's the only thing that would have given him a little juice. But I just don't think that's how Joe Dumars operates. They want to hire people they know. They hire somebody that's their friend and somebody who's at least been a coach. But that's just the NBA in general, man. You hire guys who have been head coaches. It's a recycled league.
Yep.
And you see a lot of that. And that's just the direction the Pelicans are going in. And you got to hope that it works out with Jamal Mosley.
All right, Sharif, we appreciate some time. We'll talk next week.
You got it, huh? See you next Tuesday.
Sharif Ishak, WDSU down in New Orleans. Little drama, not a lot of drama, a little drama between Vanderbilt and Kentucky early in this game. Connor Fennell is pitching for Vanderbilt, and he is eccentric. He's the guy that does the rocking back and forth on the mound and he'll try to quick pitch you. And if you step out of the box, he'll still stand in there and stare. And he's real eccentric. And you know that Kentucky plays like a softball team. They do a bunch of cheering and chants and they yell at each other when they take balls. And it's just they're obnoxious and it's ridiculous. But you've got those two butting heads. And there was a quick pitch situation, and Nick Mingione came in yelling from the third base coach, and Tyler Bell was hitting, who's Kentucky's best player and is going to be a first-round pick, and he was chirping because there was quick pitching going on, and then Connor Fennell hung a changeup, and Bell hit it 900 feet to right field. So it was kind of funny to watch as Fennell was kind of getting under Kentucky's skin, and they didn't like it, and then Tyler Bell hit it to the moon, so that all was well and good. And it's a game that does carry some consequences. You're looking at a Kentucky team that would really like to win this game. You're looking at a Vanderbilt team that season's over if they lose. And Kentucky leads 2-0 right now in the top of the third inning. So we'll keep you posted on that for the next few minutes here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Reminder that we're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Told you about this in the first hour, but if you think about IT and it's just like, okay, well, somebody's computer's frozen or they clicked on a bad link or this copier's not working, it's a little bit more intensive than that, right? Immense is a managed service provider. They're essentially a full IT department that works for you without really being on your payroll, obviously. They're a flat monthly cost that replaces these unpredictable repair bills, surprise emergencies, and they've been doing it for Baton Rouge businesses for 20 years. So if you run a business and you don't have somebody proactively managing that technology, you're one bad day away from a very expensive problem. And Immense works with you as a consultant to make sure that doesn't happen. They're monitoring your system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what they do. They're LSU guys, Baton Rouge based. And if you're between 50 and 100 people, they are really a sweet spot. So if you're not happy with your current IT provider or feel like your IT department is overworked at this point and just not able to handle the situation more often than not, let Immense come in and handle it. Immense Networks. They're online at immense.net. That's immense.net. Chugging along here on a Tuesday. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. Every car that is on the lot is online at FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for a Silverado? Incredible deals on Chevy Silverados at Fabry Chevrolet. GMC Sierras, awesome deals as well. They've also got SUVs, both new and certified and pre-owned. So if you're looking to load the family up for that summer vacation and feel like you might need some new wheels to get that done, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is just a short drive away. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. My wife and I went up to St. Francisville just a few weeks ago. It's nothing from here in Baton Rouge, and certainly if you're north of town, it's even shorter. So go by and see them. You'll get great customer service, a fantastic inventory, awesome deals. It's all there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've been in Baton Rouge for 35 years. Why? Because they've got great customer service and amazing reputation. You'll find out when you shop at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parrish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com. As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping things up here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I'm going to invite you out to Court to Table tonight, 8 o'clock. Sports Trivia. We'll have LSU baseball on the television. Cold drinks, great food, gift cards available to win. If you've got the sports knowledge to make it happen, come by yourself, bring a team. We hope to see you out at Court to Table tonight at 8 o'clock. Have you out of there by about 9:15. And I got a feeling I'm going to be up real late tonight watching this LSU baseball game and then writing a recap at louisianasports.net. I've got the preview up right now if you want to check that out. It'll be William Schmidt tonight against Gavin Jones. Schmidt has been LSU's weekend starter since the beginning of the season. Gavin Jones is making his second start of the season. Oklahoma has nothing to play for. Nothing. They are never going to host this year, even if they win the tournament. They are not going to miss the tournament. Their RPI is 20, and they won 14 league games. So they're just here to hang out. And if they beat LSU and can play Auburn, great. If they lose to LSU, head on back to Norman. But I don't anticipate Skip Johnson pushing his pitching staff tonight. He's going to go with a reliever to start. Gavin Jones' long outing of the year is 2 2/3 innings and 36 pitches. If he gets LSU popping up and all of a sudden is mowed through 3 2/3 innings before he hands the baton off, that's fine, I'm sure, with Skip Johnson. But I would imagine Gavin Jones not too long for this one. LSU would love to get some length from William Schmidt. The question is, does Jay Johnson manage this game like he needs to win 5 games? Or does he manage this game like he has to win today? Because those are different. If you're trying to win today and William Schmidt walks a couple of guys and then gives up a double, like, he's probably coming out. But if you look at it like, hey, if we're going to make this happen this week, then we need William to get us through 6 innings tonight, and then we need to score a bunch of runs, and then we need to handle the last 3 innings well so that we've got the full repertoire available for Wednesday's game, and then we get a day off on Thursday if we can make that work. Case and Evans could pitch tomorrow, like any number of ways. I would suggest there's probably going to be a fairly quick hook on William Schmidt. Here's my rationale, and I'm just spitballing here. But I feel like if you do think William Schmidt is struggling in the third, and you want to take him out after 2 2/3 innings and he's given up 2 or 3 runs, you do feel like he would be available to show back up on Friday or Saturday, certainly on Sunday if you need him. And that's just reality. I understand fully going out there and trying to get William Schmidt through 6 2/3 to save pitching. I understand just chopping it up every day. But the chopping it up every day thing is going to get to the bottom of LSU staff, and those guys just haven't gotten a lot of outs. So if it were me and I had my preference, William Schmidt's going 6 innings tonight. Problem is, William Schmidt hasn't gone 6 innings very often. And, the other piece of this puzzle is that Oklahoma's not a great offensive team. So we'll see. In any event, All that said, LSU's offense needs to go hit because Oklahoma is not throwing one of its weekend starters. Oklahoma's pitching staff is mediocre. You're going to see some mediocre arms tonight. You need to go hit, and that's what ultimately needs to happen for LSU. Getting you caught up on the one final from Hoover today. Missouri, 16 seed, beats Ole Miss. Rebels will be traveling for an NCAA regional as they will be a 2 seed. They needed to probably get to Saturday or even Sunday to think about hosting. They did not. They're headed back to Oxford, and they will be packing their bags next Wednesday and headed off to a regional, maybe in Hattiesburg, which would be spicy. We'll see. Finish things up. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Athletics starter JT Ginn took a no-hitter and a one-run lead into the ninth inning Monday night. Adam Frazier lined off a single in the bottom of the ninth to break that no-hitter. And then to follow that up, Zach Neto followed with a 2-run homer that gave the Los Angeles Angels a 2-1 victory. So is there no worse feeling than giving up your no-hitter and getting walked off in the same game? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. There's worse. You can lose the World Series. However, interesting little nugget there. I knew that happened. I saw the radio call of it that was showed up on my Twitter feed. I did not know the people involved. JT Ginn, former Mississippi State Bulldog. Adam Frazier, former Mississippi State Bulldog. So the more you know.
The more you know right there. So, damn, SEC really runs this. Okay, so Ben Simmons has won his first championship. Not in the NBA. Not in the NBA. But with the South Florida Sales Angling Club, which Simmons owns a ownership stake in, they won the Walker Clay SCS Blue Marlin Open in the Bahamas. So would you have guessed Ben Simmons would have won a championship before the 76ers? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it if I knew you were talking fishing.
Pretty good.
Interesting note. I've been marlin fishing before.
Oh, wow.
It's very similar, I would suggest, to sitting on the couch because you don't do anything. I went marlin fishing for 2 days, and we never got a marlin on the line anywhere. So all we did was just drive a boat around. That was it. Man. That was the whole day twice. So it's like, well, this is a little interesting because, and I'm not a fisherman.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the whole time, every time I go play golf, I get to play golf.
Yeah.
I'm fishing out here. I'm not catching anything. So that's not my deal. Although I did just sit up on the boat and drink some beers, which was good.
Is the marlin the fish that's jumping out the water right there?
Yeah, the big blue one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't get one? Not one jump
I think it's probably pretty hard to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we didn't catch anything. 2 days, no marlins.
I heard they're really expensive, to even go out there and go do that. So
I was not footing the bill on that one.
You just there for the beers?
Yep.
It's there for the beers. So Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba received his Offensive Player of the Year trophy, but the plaque said Defensive Player of the Year on it. Yes, his trophy had his name on it, but he was the Defensive Player of the Year. JSN commented on his Instagram story and said, "It's getting disrespectful at this point." As you remember, the NFL had Drewski call it out and disrespected his name. So is the NFL in the wrong for this mix-up? Take it or leave it.
Yeah, take it.
I'll take it.
I realize the person who engraved the trophy may not know anything about football. They may just be really good at engraving trophies.
It's a job.
You just got to give somebody the correct text. Somewhere that got lost in translation. That's not great. If I'm Jackson Smith-Njigba, though, I'm going to take my stat sheet and that plaque to the Seahawks and go, all right, I've just caught 1,700 yards and 20 touchdowns, and I'm the Defensive Player of the Year. So go ahead and pay me for that.
In a perfect world, that's what people thought Travis Hunter was going to be.
Yeah.
Where he's doing that, and then on the same flip side, he's Defensive Player of the Year. So, man, at this point, I think it's safe to say I'm going to leave JSN alone in fantasy football this year. It's just too much bad juju going on with him since this. You went Offensive Player of the Year. You get disrespectful.
You know what?
Yes.
Somebody just screwed up the plaque engraving it. Just get a new one. We don't need to make a big deal of this. And if he makes a big deal of this, then he needs to grow up.
He was mad. He made it. He was very upset.
He was very upset. It's fine.
You know what? I would actually keep that then settle the one and
collector's item.
Yeah,
put it in Canton.
Jackson Smith-Njigba Defensive Player of the Year trophy. That's one of one. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It here on the Hunt Palmer Show. I'm now realizing that I've got about a minute and 15 seconds, and that could be it on the airwaves for this baseball season, which is daunting for the weeks to come and disappointing altogether. But I'm hopeful. They can't hurt me anymore. They can't hurt us anymore. There's not one LSU fan that's going to turn on that television tonight and live and die with it and think, oh my gosh, like you would in a regional. The only thing they could bring you tonight, they can bring two things. They can bring joy. They might win, might look good. They could bring some joy, or they could bring closure. That's really the only two options that are on the board. If they bring some joy, you show up tomorrow, see what you can do, might get a day off. They may make it through this week. I would love that, but I don't have a lot of optimism. But we'll see. Previews at LouisianaSports.net. Talked about it at the top of the show today. Talked about it a little bit with Glenn West as well. It's an interesting spot that LSU's put themselves in. It's hopefully not one that they're in anytime soon, but they certainly are this evening. So we'll see. First pitch at 8 o'clock. 30 minutes before first pitch. You can listen over at Eagle 98.1. We talked a little bit of Saints today as well. Talk some LSU basketball. Talk some LSU recruiting. You can catch all that at Hunt on LSU. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Hope to see you at Trivia tonight. If not, same time, same place tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. That's SwingEasyGCBR.com. If you're looking for a place to hit some golf shots, maybe play some holes or work on your game this weekend, if it's raining, you can do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. Climate control on the simulator, comfortable space, private space, awesome spot on Segan at Perkins. But we're also giving the opportunity to get involved in their league play that is coming very soon this summer. If you would like you and a partner to play in a scramble-style league weekly at Swing Easy Golf Club, we've got your entrance. Text us, 225-499-1045. That's 225-499-1045. Text Swing Easy. You're entered to win a spot to compete one-on-one teams to get into the league over at Swing Easy. We'll draw a winner next week. Very much looking forward to that. Not, go check them out at Swing Easy. They're on Perkins at Segan Hunt Palmer.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can